Hello everyone, my name is Bethany. Welcome to my channel, Thany's Thoughts. Today I am talking about my May TBR. I'm not gonna lie though, tend to be a mood reader. I just kind of read whatever suits my fancy at the time. I have a ton of books on my Kindle, I also have Kindle Unlimited, so I just kind of browse through those and whatever strikes my fancy I go with. But there are a couple books that I am going to go over about books that I'm going to try to read, and I want to discuss that briefly with you. The first book that I'm definitely going to be reading for May, it comes out May 5th, The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. That cover is like so gorgeous. I was a huge fan of her selection series. And this is her new book in a new series, so I'm super excited about it. She's like a noble daughter, and the king just decides that she's kind of gorgeous and starts to arrange a marriage for her. But while they're in their courtship and getting ready to go through with it, I think she starts falling for somebody else. So yeah, totally stoked, super hyped for that. But I'm really excited to get started with it as soon as possible. The next book I'm definitely going to read for May is going to be The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. This is the second book in the Winter Night trilogy. The first book was called The Bear and the Nightingale. I read that a while ago. I'm not gonna lie, The Bear and the Nightingale, it was really slow. It's kind of the whole beginning of her life. And but as I heard that the second book moves a lot faster, and the way that The Bear and the Nightingale ended, I'm super intrigued about what's going to happen next. So this is about Visalia, and she is kind of a witch. Like, she ends up kind of having powers, and there's a conflict that happens in The Bear and the Nightingale. And in the second book, that kind of, I think it has ramifications, and so she has to kind of continue in that journey. There's also like a fae, I don't know if he's fae or not. There's like a magical guy in the series. I really liked him in the first book. I'm hoping he makes a reappearance in the second one. Again, I'm all about series right now, so I decided to read the second one. It's a YA. I believe it's YA. It's not juvenile YA, I would say. I think it's more like advanced, like older YA. So yeah, those are the two books that I have planned for May so far. And I'm back. I really took a moment to think about my May TBR. I took into account some books challenges and some of the other book club things that I have going on online and in real life. And from all of that, I put together the rest of my May TBR. Please bear in mind, though, I might totally deviate from this. I'm not going to put it past me. But I think I want to really stick with a lot of the things that I'm putting forth for myself today. And hopefully that's what happens. I'm going to start with actually the books that I'm in the middle of, that I haven't finished, that I'm in the middle of for whatever reason. Either I got bored with it, or I got distracted, or I just have other things going on, or it's in a format that maybe I don't usually use. So I'm going to start going over those books that I am in the middle of that I hope to finish this month. The first book that I plan on finishing is going to be The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the third book in the Folk of Air series, and I am obsessed. I listened to the first book on audiobook, and I was like, this is interesting. I'm here for this. I listened to the second book on audiobook, and I was obsessed, listening to it on a road trip, and immediately the very first Target that I went to, I bought the third book, if that tells you anything. The series is about Jude, who is a human living in the Fae realm, where she has a very hate-love, mostly hate, let's say it's mostly hate, relationship with Prince Carden. And that's all I'm going to say about it, but it's really good. I'm halfway through. I'm almost there. I was loving the series. I was enjoying it. I think I just got distracted with other things. So I'm really determined to finish the series. The next book that I'm halfway through, that I'm still in the middle of reading, is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. I don't know if I said that right, but hopefully I did. This is about a girl who is from an Indian family who goes to a summer internship for app design, and she meets a boy there. The parents are trying to set up an arranged marriage, and they plan for the boy to be there at the same time as the summer camp. So she's super against it. She's like, no, I do not want anything to do with you. They start kind of talking more and being friendly with each other and realize that they have a lot in common. And yeah, and it becomes a really cute romance. I'm halfway through. I was really enjoying it as well. I think I just got, it started kind of drag, and I think when romances start to drag for me, I just kind of ditch them. Not because they're not any good, just because I just get distracted by other things. So I really, really want to finish it and see what happens and how it all comes together. So yeah, hopefully this is another one I'm going to be finishing. And the last book that I'm hoping to finish this month is actually an audiobook that I have on my phone. It is called The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. If, for those who might not know, that's the first book in the Bridgerton series. I heard that Shonda Rhimes was producing a Netflix series on romance novels, and I was like, here for this. I need to read them, all of them, before they come out. So I decided to check out the first book, and I'm about halfway through, so I just need to, I don't listen to audiobooks. I used to listen to audiobooks in my car, and obviously I'm not going anywhere. So I've been mostly listening to it on as I do chores or if I take walks. So I haven't been listening to it a whole heck of a lot. The Bridgerton series is about a family with quite a few children, a collection of boys and girls who obviously are a noble family set in England, who has a matriarch who is trying to get them all married off. Each sibling's romance as they get married off. So the first book is about the most eldest daughter, her romance that she starts off with, who ends up being her brother's best friend. So for historical, it's got all the tropes, and I'm a huge fan of historical romance, so it's been delightful so far. Maybe do a few more walks this month and finish the book, and I want to continue on with the series, so hopefully I'll have a chance to do that as well. This is Silence Fallen by Patricia Briggs. It is book number 10 in the Mercy Thompson series. For those who don't know, the Mercy Thompson series is about a coyote shifter who gets involved with an alpha of a werewolf pack. There was an excerpt in the end of book 9, and it made me really intrigued for book 10. Mercy gets kidnapped by vampires, and this must be like the 5th time she's been kidnapped in the series, I'm not gonna lie. But what I like about her is that she's never really damsel in distress. She always either fights or figures it out or gets out, or she's just always a badass. She's always a badass. So and even though sometimes she has to get saved, she does it in a clever way. What I'm also really excited about this book is that it has Mercy's perspective, which is usually it always has in all the books, but this particular perspective also has the alpha werewolf, her mate, his name is Adam. So it's going to be shifting between the two of them. I think there's only been one other book that has Adam's perspective, so I'm kind of excited to have it for that reason. Also includes my favorite character, named Stefan, who's one of the vampires. He's one of the good vampires. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. The next book I plan to read for this month is going to be the Ravished by Romance group read. The Ravished by Romance group is organized by Jess from Peace Love Books, Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, and who are both YouTubers, and then Sarah from Words with Sarah, who's an bookstagrammer. They have their own book group, and they host a monthly book club together. So the book that they're reading this month is going to be called The Locker Room by Megan Quinn. It is about a sports romance about baseball. The locker room is apparently if a guy brings a girl into the locker room, they end up getting together. So apparently this guy has a crush on someone who's, I'm not sure she's a relative of someone or part of a team, part of like the team's entourage, and he wants to bring her to the locker room and see if like they'll end up together because he's really crushing on her. Yeah, that's pretty much all the blurb told me. It didn't really tell me a whole heck of a lot. I have read a book in this series that is further in the series, I think, maybe a book or two later in the series, called The Lineup. Wasn't a favorite of mine, I'm not gonna lie. And Megan Quinn, I've read a couple of books of her before, and they haven't been my favorites. They've been like really good plots, but for some reason there's something missing, or they drag, or I don't know. I'm not sure what it is about her. So, but I'm trying it again. I thought it'd be kind of fun to read with the group. That's gonna be probably on my Kindle. Right now it's on Kindle Unlimited if you want to check it out. The next book I'm going to check out is also part of a group, the Christina Lauren Facebook fan group, where Christina and Lauren, for those who don't know, Christina Lauren, the author, they're two people. So both Christina and Lauren also participate in the book reads, and they also are really active on their fan group, which is really cool. So we're doing a book read. We've been doing a book read the last 2 months. This is our 3rd month in the book club for the month, and so I'm going to be reading that as well. The book is called When the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. It's free on Kindle Unlimited if you want to check it out. It is about a widow who starts the Oregon Trail and in the process meets a half Pawnee man and makes a connection. And it's just kind of about them and their relationship, but also complications from that relationship, as well as surviving the trail. Man, Oregon Trail game was no joke. So I'm sure this book is also going to be just as serious. I've had a lot of fun reading the books that we had the last couple of months, so I'm really, really excited to get started with this one as well. And the next book that I'm going to be reading is going to be, it's a graphic novel. I don't read very often graphic novels, I'm not going to lie, but I love the storytelling element of graphic novels. I read so fast. Well, I don't read so fast. I'm actually kind of a slow reader, but I read so voraciously, especially when I was growing up, that I just didn't really get into graphic novels when I was young. But I've saw so many people reading this on my Goodreads and all my friends, and it looks really cute. And so I decided to try to check it out myself. It's called The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. I mean, look at that. Look how adorable that cover is. I can't get over it. It is about a prince who his parents are looking for a bride for him, but the prince has a secret. At night, he goes out and is dressed as a woman, lauded as this fashion icon for the town and kingdom that he resides in. And his best friend is also his dressmaker, who also has a secret of her own. It looks really cute. I'm really, really excited about it. It'll be a nice, just light, quick read. Look at this too. I love that the chapters are like cuttings of material. Like, oh my God. I can't even, but I'm really, really excited about it. And yeah, I'm excited to just kind of mix it up with something different. For the last two books, they're kind of connected to each other and what I'm doing. So my local book club does contemporary books and adult books, but also young adults, and very rarely romance, but every once in a while they do a romance. Every 3 months they do a classic. So the classic they're doing this month is Jane Eyre. Now, if I could tell you all the things about Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte was a book that embedded itself in my soul when I read it when I was 16. And I often call it the book that doomed me to become an English major. It had such a profound impact to me that a classic novel, because most of the classics that I read growing up was Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, Prince and the Pauper, Oliver Twist, which now looking back was just a bunch of boy books. Maybe that's why I didn't connect with them. But when I read Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre for the first time, I was like, this is the sexiest romance I've ever read. And I love it. So it's quite the book close to my heart. So they're doing that for the quarterly classic this round. Jane Eyre is about a young woman who becomes orphaned and taken in by her aunt and uncle, who are terrible, terrible, rude people, and her cousin, who treats her horribly. But through it all, Jane is very resilient. She's tough. She knows herself. She's very true to herself. She's very sure of herself, which I love that element in Jane. And then she goes to school where she's also treated terribly, a boarding school where she's treated also horribly. And then from there, she becomes a governess in a home of someone who has a ward. The man's name who hires her is named Mr. Rochester. And there's things that happen with that, and it's glorious. I don't probably plan to reread this. I'm not going to lie. I've read it when I was 16, and then I read it again when I was 22 in college. It's been some odd years since then. I honestly want to reread the whole thing. I feel like, again, I know the story extremely well. I feel like I don't need to necessarily read the whole thing all over again, but I am going to probably skim read it and go through some of my favorite parts, or some of the parts that maybe I forgot most of, just because I want to kind of refresh myself for the book club coming up at the end of the month, which, by the way, our book club is being safe. We have transitioned all of our meetings onto Zoom, so just for any of those who might be concerned. But what I decided to do, since I'm doing the quarterly classic read for the group, I also decided to pick up modernization of Jane Eyre that I've been meaning to read, and I have had now for the last couple of years, and I have not read. So that's going to be called Brightly Burning by Alexa Doan. It is basically Jane Eyre, but sci-fi. Spaceship. Only Rochester is the spaceship that they are in. I think the characters' names are changed. It's not Jane or Mr. Rochester. It's Stella and Captain Hugo. Okay. Basically kind of the same concept. Starting there, she's hired as governess in the spaceship. Strange things start happening on the spaceship. And I'm here for this. In my rereading of Charlotte of Jane Eyre, as well as reading this, I think it'll be a great refresh for some of the things that maybe I didn't remember that I can go back to in the book and the original book and look at. So I'm super excited about this. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I just kept putting it off on my TBR. So I'm really, really excited. And that is it for my May TBR. I am so proud of myself that I came up with a TBR for this month. And I just really hope I stick with it. I mean, really, I don't know. We'll find out. We're just gonna see where this goes. Can't wait for some of the books that I'm gonna be reading this month. Super excited. Please check out some of my other videos on my channel. Subscribe if you love my stuff and want to see more. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.